What's good, YouTube? Carfight King here, Aqualife baby. You already know how it is. So today, guys, I wanted to show you my Three Musketeer deck that I took to locals last night, and I got first place, undefeated with it. We didn't drop a single game. We 2-0'd all of our opponents. This is my absolute favorite deck in the game. You guys know from my talks on the channel, I've been waiting so long to play Three Musketeers. So we finally got it in. We didn't do so well with it last Sunday. I really messed up my build, and I kind of got away from my own play style with the deck. But we really worked on the deck this week, and yesterday was what we wanted to achieve with the deck was a first place finish with it. My matchups, I played against yellow Mastemon, yellow Eosmon round 2, more of like a yellow black mix of Eosmon round 2. Round 3 I played against Gabubond, and round 4 I played against the Craniumon black blocker Royal Knight ish deck. So yeah, and that probably is one of our worst matchup, which is Black Royal Knights. But I'll talk more about that because I felt like I have a few things in here that could help out in that matchup as well. But getting right into the deck profile for you guys. And also, if you guys want, I do stream on Twitch. I do stream playtest games, deck building streams, all that other stuff. Anytime I do an online regional, so you can follow me on Twitch as well. And I'll have the Twitch link in the description box below. But we got four eggs here. Digimon best egg. We already know about this. Is probably the egg I'll be playing for my entirety with purple until they come up with something that's better than this. But this egg is hard to top. The Pagumon egg I like in this deck because it just gives you that mill too, so it helps fill your trash up a little bit more. There are people that can argue that you can use the Sunamon of it, but I think that that's just a different build and different style of play that you wanted to go for with the deck. I know like people that use like Labramon and whatnot, utilize it, things like that. So there's that, but I like the little mill. I don't want. There are enough cards in this deck that do the random milling where you're just trashing cards off the top of your deck. I don't really feel like doing too much of that. I understand that you want to fill your trash, but then through playtesting you'll find that you're going to be milling your Zwards and your other rookies and other important things while trying to get those more of the Musketeer stuff in the trash. And you already have enough uncontrolled milling in this deck already, and so I don't feel like you need to force yourself into running like 4 copies of the Impmon and things like that. With that being said, going into the rookies, starting off with 4 Soundbirdmon, absolutely a great card. 1k DP, so you have matchup knowledge against Genkumon and the Black Royals. The 1k DP can help out when you set up your board with like a nail bone, but also when he attacks, you can discard a card to gain a memory. So this actually has the plays where you can combo into a lot of different things. Combo into a Beelstar to get your memory back and get another card in the trash to continue to help set her up. Can help you play a Deputymon and pass your opponent the memory for at least amount, lesser cost. Just a fantastic card overall. I was playing this card at 2, but I missed him so much, and so I put him back to 4, and it's been working wonders. I wanted to do 3, but I'm doing 4 copies of the Impmon, BT6 Impmon, which is where you can, when you on play, you can discard a card from your hand, and you can add a 3 Musketeer or 7 Demon Lord from your trash to your hand. So this card is really in here just to recycle your Beelstarmons to your hand, or even your Gundramons, just depending on, what your situation is during the game. I can easily see him being at 3. I played 4 because I just didn't I didn't have too much time to really experiment with him at 3, but I played 4 just because late game I want to see this card late game, so that I can start just recycling my Beelstarmon so I can continue to use them. But again, I can see this card at 3, because it's not really great early game. I played 2 copies of the BT, the 1.0 Impmon, to mill 3. Again, it's a little bit of more of that uncontrolled milling, but it can be pretty useful. It can be pretty useful, so you kind of play it with a chance of that. And again, when you play purple and you're playing decks that mill, you know, don't get too discouraged when you mill, like, you know, all rookies or rookies tamers and whatnot, because you assume the risk of sending those cards to the trash, and then so you just got to play around what you got to play around. And then one copy of Gazimon. I can see Gazimon easily going to 2. Like, you can cut an Impmon, put a Gazimon 2. You can cut an Impmon, put that to 3 if you want more milling. But I put one Gazimon because we don't have a lot of memory boosts right now, and I know Gabubond's a thing, but I feel like, you know, even with this card out, they can still go into the Gabubond, send it to the bottom of the deck. But, you know, it's more in there for when we get the memory boost cards out, your opponent's going to have to deal with this card first before they can start utilizing all of their memory boost cards. So that's, you know, really why I just play one until we get the memory boost cards. Otherwise, he's usually at 2 because, you know, we never spark. Alright, so going into level 4. So level 4 is pretty simple. 4 copies of Deputymon and 4 copies of Vilemon. The Deputymon's in there because he's basically your 3 Musketeer searcher in a way. You flip the top 4, you can add a 3 Musketeer card and or a 7 cost option to your hand, and then the rest go to the trash. So he kind of helps you fill up your trash, but he's like he feels like a controlled mill in a way, because you're going to be getting rid of at least 2 cards. But you can add the 3 Musketeer, or you can just let it all go to trash for further setup. So his mill is more of a setup mill in a way, but with the option to add stuff to hand. Plus, he lets you warp Digivolve into Gundramon or Beelstar. You don't really want to warp into Beelstar, but warping to Gundramon is good. Otherwise, you use him to poke, and that's what you kind of use your force for, to poke. You know, Vilemon's a great blocker, and he's a great blocker, great target for Nailbone. Obviously, 6K, so it gets around Balhuckmon and a lot of cards that hit 5K DP stuff like Shoutmon and things and whatnot. But yeah. And then, like I said, but you can utilize this lineup in your rookies more for poke cards, just to poke down your opponent's security, because you already have a ton of board control afterwards. And again, same thing with Rebellymon. I'm not a big fan of Rebellymon personally. He's really in there for the Jesmon matchup, because when you Digivolve into him, you get to discard one. He gets blocker and retaliation, and he also counts as a black card. But he's just in here really for the Jesmon matchup, and it does help. It kind of does help you cycle your deck a little bit when you Digivolve on top of a Deputymon, and then go into a Gundramon for 4 on top of it. But otherwise, you know, he's an okay card. He'll probably be coming out when the EX collection comes out. Going to level 6 is one Sakuyamon. This is for the Gabubond matchup. A lot really for the Gabubond matchup, but you know, also, you know, is also for the Jesmon matchup. So really, Gabubond and Jesmon, this card really helps out against, and a lot of indie cards that come out of their raising area that are powerful. It gets popped by the Agubond, so it's not that strong. It can get popped by the Agubond, but it can be kind of strong because they can, you know, pop it, burn one of your security, but they already burned 2 of their security. So it's kind of like this card already got its attacks in. So it's a very solid card. It's pretty it's a pretty fun card to play. 3 Gundramon, one of the main Musketeers. He's a blocker, and on Digivolve you get to look at the top 5 and activate a security card from among them. If not, you can delete a level 4 or less, and then those 5 go to the trash. So he's kind of like he's kind of like Deputymon, where he gets you top 5 search setup. You know, so you can activate the option card that you want to off of him, and then they all go to the trash to help you set up more for Beelstar. And then speaking of Beelstar, we got the Beelstars. I am gonna max rarity of this deck, so don't worry about that. But we got the Beelstars. Best card in the deck is the card I've been waiting for. You guys know how I feel about Impmon, and the Impmon line is one of my top 3 favorite Digimon. So, and this is going to be a deck that I'm going to continue to play throughout probably the entirety of the Digimon TCG. But yeah, Beelstarmon is an amazing card. For each 3 Musketeer and 7 cost option, her play cost gets reduced, and when she comes out, you can add a 7 cost option to your hand, and then play one from your hand for free, ignoring the not ignoring the color requirements, but ignoring the play cost requirements. So there is decks that run like a blue package in the deck. So even with the blue package in the deck, you still need to meet the color requirements, so you have to have like a blue tamer out. But otherwise, yeah, she's just absolutely insane. She's a really strong card, and she's like pretty much the whole point of this deck. And when it gets to, she shines the later it gets into the game. Where you can continue to focus on board control, but the later it gets into the game, her play cost is getting reduced. You can start playing her out for free to control the board, to build your own board, and then she can really take over the game. And she's one of those cards where I always say, when it comes to purple, it's like a lot of the best purple cards evo for 4, but have an on, their one effect, but that one effect from purple can really take over a game. And that's what I feel about Beelstar. When you do get her to the board, she can really take over a game, and she opens up a lot of different plays for you as well. Now, going into the level 7 lineup, I run 1 copy of Millenniumon. Millenniumon is really just in there for the Craniumon, just to, because Craniumon is one of the biggest boons to this deck, and so you want to have a card that can get rid of the Craniumon and be a very solid attacker, and your opponent has to remove this card twice. I run 2 copies of my boy, Zwart Defeat. I love Zwart. You know me. I love Zwart Defeat. Great card. You already know what he does. Security. Again, that's just another card in this deck that activates in security, comes out, and it's just a destructive force. And it gets rid of those tamers, so getting rid of the mat and ties is extremely important in the bond matchup. And Eosmon, getting rid of the Manoas as much as you can. And then we run 3 copies of Zwart. This is finally a deck outside of the Lilith Loop deck that I feel like Zwart shines in a ton. You can play like a cheap Beelstar, do what you need to do, board setup, board clear, and then go into a Zwart. And then if they don't answer Zwart, then you can swing with Zwart, put Beelstar back into your hand, and so not only did you swing with Zwart, get rid of something, and put 2 bodies on the board with Zwart, but then you can drop the Beelstarmon. Then you can drop the Beelstarmon again to either get rid of whatever's left on their board or whatever it is or use like a nail bone and continue to set up and build like a nearly unbreakable board. Very, very strong card. And again, Zwart to me has felt really clunky in the other formats. This format with this deck, I feel like he's great. You can easily, and Millenniumon can easily turn into a Defeat or another Zwart depending on what you want to do. But because again, I'm really only playing him for one matchup. So if I wasn't worried about Craniumon Black or anything like that, then he would probably become a Zwart Defeat, if anything else. Now on to the level 7 option cards. 4 copies of Fly Bullet, my favorite one for purple. Obviously, it's purple. Deletes a level 6 or lower. Simple, easy, and activates insecurity. Insane card against a lot of different matchups. Jesmon when they don't have Delicate Plan. Everything else. But it doesn't work against Gabubond, but we have a card that does. Heavy Bullet Showering. Now, I run 3. I want to run 4. It's the more games I got in with this deck, the more testing I've done. This card has a lot more situations to where it is so beneficial to your game plan than some of the other options. Because Happy Bullet Showering deletes all your opponent's Digimon with the lowest DP. Now, yes, your opponent can quote unquote play around the card where they can put like a 1k out and then have like a bunch of 6ks out, sure. But this is one of the only cards that can get rid of like Gabubond or Agubond, right? Because they're level 7s. Fly Bullet can't do it. Trump Sword can, but if it's like their last attack of the turn, it's not really doing. It's not going to be Trump Sword's not going to be doing you any good in that area. It doesn't work against Agubon. Doesn't work against, it doesn't work against decks that don't have like a card that lets them, restand their Digimon for another attack, or unsuspend their Digimon, excuse me, for another attack. So, but this card is a card that can take it. If they build like a single board, bam! It also activates Insecurity. I used this card so often last night. and I didn't really miss Gelswarmer because this took care of boards. My opponent hit this in security. It knocked out like the Strabimons and things like that, and so their board was clear. I hit this against Eosmon and got rid of all the level 6 Eosmons on the board. I mean, this card has done more for me than I thought it was, and I was very sour on the card. I thought this card was better as a one of, wasn't going to be doing anything, but the more I tested with this card, the more I liked it. 2 Trump Sword. Trump Sword is a good card, but just like it's always been, it's been a very situational card. Good to hit in security, but again, if they're only swinging with a singular unit, they're keeping their board small, not really kind of fanning things out. It can be a dead card in certain situations. So, but I felt like 2 was pretty solid. 2 Nailbone. Again, this card is really good at building boards. Especially in the late game when you can just when you really don't have anything to destroy, you can just build a board. It's really good. And then 2 Gelswarmer. Gelswarmer does not activate in security. Everything else here you see activates in security. This card does not activate in security. This card just is a board nuke. Does active security. It's to me it's a good card, but a lot of times I find is that I can wipe enough of their board with Happy Bullet Showering, like off of a Beelstar. I can keep I can still keep my Soundbirdmon, my Valmon, my Deputymon. I can keep all my other guys so that I got rid of all or the majority of their board. I kept all the cards on my board, so now I have security pressure on my board that didn't get wiped out because I just nuked everything. A lot of times you really only use this card if you just drop a Beelstarmon and it's like, well, their board's a little bit more overwhelming than anything else, so I do kind of got to get rid of this. But otherwise, it's an okay card. And, honestly, Blasphemy, maybe I can see this card getting cut down for another Happy Bullet Showering, another Nailbone, whatever the case may be. I know that a player, one of the players I follow plays 4 of that just because of how the meta is and what you see during playtesting. Again, a lot of what this deck does, a lot of the text and everything in this deck is just due to what you see during playtesting and your matchup knowledge. So that is it for the 7 cost options. And last but not least, 2 Mateshitas. Mateshita, he's just in there to set your memory to 3, and he's just another target to grab your Beelstarmon out from the trash. Again, it's kind of like with the Impmon. He kind of plays the role of the Impmon, where if you do drop him later in the game, you can grab the Beelstar out of your trash, or if you drop him, but sometimes you want to probably just drop him early to get your Beelstar out the trash, or a rookie so you can Digivolve on top of an egg, if you need to continue more setup. So yeah, just the 2 Mateshitas. And that is it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. Let me know what you guys think in the description box below, and I will be talking with you then. I'm also going to do some matchup videos where I just talk about this deck versus different matchups and kind of like what you want to aim for, what you want to go for as well. But that's been it. It's Cardfight King, Aqualife Baby, and we're out.